Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and Happy New Year. I hope that so far 2021 is treating you well as we enter our third lockdown period here in the UK. Now, for many of us, myself included, nature has been somewhat of a lifesaver during these lockdown periods. And there is one thing in particular that has helped us bring nature just a little bit closer to home. That is, as you might have guessed already, these things, the bird feeders. To me, it's incredible to see how many species bird feeders can bring in such a short space of time. So what I'm going to try and do today is fill this one up with the rest of them behind me. I've also got my trusty trail camera here, which I'm going to set up on the post down next to the feeders, and I've brought out the big boy lens, so hopefully I'm going to get some good footage for you all. So with that, join me over the next few minutes as I try to exhibit the wonders that bird feeders can bring with just a little bit of patience and a pair of binoculars. Okay, so the feeders are all set up. I've just switched the camera on and the trail cam, as you can see, is just set up on the post over there. So now all we have to do, as I said, was have a little bit of patience and see what we can find.
Until recently, I never really took that much notice of our feeders here at home. But now, I can't stop watching them. Bring a camera into the equation, and I could stand there for hours.
Now, each species evokes different levels of interest and excitement from those watching it, and over time I've definitely developed my own list of favourites to look out for. A dream at the moment would be a bullfinch. Yesterday I saw one just in the field next to the feeders, but it seemed just a little bit too shy to actually go onto the feeders and feed. Another personal favourite of mine is the coal-tit. Now, a lot of people think coal-tits are just quite a small, bland coloured species, but to me there's something special about them. I can't really describe it, but as I say, each species evokes different feelings from those watching it. From just spending a little bit of time at the feeders, you can quite quickly pick up on the different behaviours of each species. Goldfinches seem to hang around in big flocks, and there'll be intermittent periods where all I can see on the feeders is goldfinches. They're also sometimes joined by the greenfinches, a really exotic looking bird that you wouldn't think at first would come from the UK, but they do, and they're really impressive, so keep an eye out for them if you ever see some goldfinches. Coal-tits seem to just flitter in and out very quickly, very hard to photograph, whereas robins, in this case, of course I'm only talking from experience here at these feeders, but robins seem to hang around tentatively, maybe just being a bit territorial, looking out for other robins and not really bothered about the feeders. We then get blue tits as well, there's one just there, usually on their own but making a lot of noise either way. And then long-tailed tits don't tend to come down to the feeders so much, but they fly overhead in this big ash tree that we've got up here, and they don't hang around for long, so I've not managed to get any good footage of long-tailed tits yet, but quite a distinctive sound. So they're a really nice one to see around here, and quite a special species for me at the moment. Now, I myself am no expert in birdsong, but I'm definitely trying to work my way up. One thing I do in particular to learn is to use an app called the Collins British Bird Guide. They also have one for European birds altogether, but I use British ones just to narrow it down a bit more. One thing I'd say is start easy. Things like the robin and the blackbird are really distinctive, and once you know them you can move on and maybe go into something a little bit more difficult, but definitely start easy. There are loads more resources out there, books, apps, YouTube videos. I know that my friend Lucy Lapwing is just starting a YouTube series where she's going to be doing some birdsong tutorials, so definitely tune into them. But yeah, try not to be daunted by it. As I say, I'm not an expert at all, but I'm more than happy to bring you all along on my journey to an increased knowledge and understanding of the natural world, because there's so much to learn about and there's so much that we don't know. So just to always keep learning, no matter how small that thing that you're learning is, that's definitely the way to go in my opinion. And once you know a bit more about the natural world, you can definitely, well, I think you can begin to appreciate it a lot more, and you have a much stronger connection with things when you're out in nature and you know that there's a robin out there, for example, and blue tit as well. I got there eventually. But I just think it's like, I think it's so much cooler when you can identify things and then you can say, oh, there's a robin, yeah, I can see it right there. Maybe that's just me being a bit strange, but yeah. So, I've been out for a decent while now and I've seen quite a good number of species. I'll put them up on the screen now. Don't think that if you're not in the countryside you can't see lots of bird species as well. Just by setting up some feeders, you'll be amazed at how many species come to your garden in a short space of time. I do also hope that I've shown a little bit that you don't need to be an expert in wildlife to be interested in it, to care about it, or most importantly to want to protect it. We can all play a role in wildlife conservation in 2021, and there are many different ways that we can do that. Of course, a brilliant way to start is by setting up some feeders in your back garden, but as I say, there are so many other things that we can do. If you're keen to find out about more of those things, then definitely subscribe to my channel, as that's what I'll be covering over the next year, along with other information about the wildlife itself, and some practices, success stories, and perhaps potential failures that are going on in wildlife conservation at the moment. If you're keen to see some other daily updates about what I'm doing here at home, out in nature, then give me a follow on Instagram at AlexCollinsWAC. Until then, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching.